I said it before and I'll say it again. Lofree has the smoothest and best sounding low profile mechanical keyboard by far. Ever since they've introduced the OG Lofree Flow, they've been a staple in the industry when it comes to the smoothness category. And they've since improved that year by year with the Lofree Edge and the Lofree Flow Lite. Both are outstanding low profile keyboards with contrasting target audiences. But there's no denying the fact that a lot of people were anticipating the successor to the premium Lofree Flow because as good as it is, there are a lot of features missing that are available on its competitors. Lo and behold, we now have the Lofree Flow 2, which now has all the essential features that people were looking for on the OG Flow and more. But remember the saying less is more? Well, I think that's exactly the case with the Lofree Flow 2 with a design language that definitely raised some eyebrows and is interesting to say the least. Here, let me explain. Let's get into it. As always, honest disclaimer, this video is not paid, but Lofree provided us with an early review sample for me to share with you my honest thoughts. They will not see this video or even my script prior to release. Now, the Lofree Flow 2 is available in 3 different layouts, 68, 84, and 100 keys. And what I have here, just for context, is the most compact 68 key variant. Now, first, let's talk about the things that I like about the Lofree Flow 2. For starters, I like the polished build quality with intricate details that few people are going to notice, but we're definitely part of the process. Though I would assume if you back their Kickstarter campaign, you probably check out all the details. But yeah. So the chassis is made out of CNC aluminum with flat sides and curved corners, but what I like the most here is the finish. It is smooth while showcasing a textured pattern reminiscent of the surface of the MacBook Pro. And even though it is made mostly out of aluminum, it is still relatively lightweight at around 635 grams. And of course, the build quality is top-notch with no flex at all. It's also quite thin at only around 13.2mm across all sides, and this is because instead of putting the battery at the bottom, they've decided to put it on the side, but more on that later. And while the goal is make it as thin as it is, they still managed to add a couple of flip-out stands, which will definitely make some people happy. Now, another thing that they've improved with the Lofree Flow 2 is the keycaps. They now feature sharper edges with larger surfaces and are made out of double-shot material, combining durable and oil-resistant PBT plastic with translucent polycarbonate plastic for the legends. They've also improved the illumination by redesigning the switch with a bigger hole for the light to shine through, though it's still a single color white and the lighting effects are still bare minimum with off, breathing, and steady. Now, illumination was not the only thing that was improved with the switch. It was also redesigned to make it lighter and more stable than its predecessors from the Shadow Series 1 and 2. I love the linear ghost from the original Flow and the linear specter from the affordable Flow Lite. And these new cloud switches on the Flow 2 feel even better. They've reduced the tolerance between the housing and the stem and added more stabilizer dots. While you may probably not notice its effects without any point of comparison, feeling this new cloud surface switch alone will make you appreciate it already out of the box. Now, the shorter stabilizers sound and feel good, but the spacebar has a little bit of rattle, at least for my sample. Here's a quick sound test for you guys. This keyboard features hot swappable sockets, by the way, which means you can order and try out different compatible low-profile switches. Another thing that I like about the Lofree Flow 2 is the feature that most people were looking for on the OG Flow, which is tri-mode connectivity. This is also the feature that held me back from switching to the Lofree Flow back in the day as my daily driver, because having a lower latency 2.4 GHz connection is a must for me. And now that we have it here, I am happy. Not to mention, it also features a 1000Hz polling rate and is compatible with VIA, which is also not present with the OG Flow. It also features a 2000 mAh battery with up to 90 hours of battery life with the lights turned off and 13 hours with the lights turned all the way up. Now, on the inside, the Lofree Flow 2 features all the essential modern sound dampening material with silicone dampener, IXPE switch foam, PET dampening sheet, PU bottom case foam, and features gasket mounting with silicone dampening pads. Opening it is super easy as well. Just remove the screws around, carefully detach the cables, and you can now pull out the plate and PCB combo. Now, I didn't bother removing the keycaps and switches, as all I wanted to know here is the design implementation for the battery and the touch sensitive area on the side. Speaking of the battery and the touch sensitive area on the side, this is where it starts to get interesting. I've read and heard a lot of comments about the design decision of Lofree here, with a noticeable extension on the right side and the addition of a touch sensitive sidebar. Now, Lofree told me that this wasn't only about standing out, but was primarily a technical necessity to keep the keyboard ultra slim and completely flat. And I get that because as you can see, the touch bar didn't take any significant amount of space for it to exist. The space is just for the battery and the daughter board of the USB Type-C port. However, honestly speaking, if they really wanted to stick with this design with the battery on the side, I think it would have been better if it were on the left side. Not only will it not interfere with the mouse, as most users pointed out already, but it will also allow you to toggle the touch bar without having to lift your hand off your mouse because you're going to use your left hand instead, right? Also, maybe it's just me, but the additional length on the right side messes me up whenever I reach for the arrow keys. And putting the USB Type-C port on the left side will also keep the cable out of the way. As for the touch-sensitive sidebar, this allows you to quickly adjust the volume and screen brightness. However, it baffles me that the volume adjustment changes in increments of 3 levels, which is absolutely annoying and messes up my OCD. And I don't get it because you can adjust the screen brightness in increments of 1. I don't know if you can change that, but there's that. Honestly, a volume knob or a roller like what the Flow Light has would be easier and more intuitive. Though again, I understand the design limitations here given the goal of making it ultra slim and compact. And lastly, and again this may be just me, but while I understand the idea of making the design super seamless, hiding the switch underneath the flip-out stand is quite unnecessary. It adds another step by lifting the keyboard up, flipping out the stand, and fiddling around to find the switch, compared to the usual location at the back, which is still pretty much out of sight. Though again, I understand the lack of space to achieve that. So yeah, overall to conclude, I appreciate all the upgrades made for the Lofree Flow 2, especially when it comes to the things that matter the most, which are sound and feel, thanks to the improved keycaps, switches, and the overall internal design and components. Not to mention the addition of the most sought after tri-mode connectivity and VIA support. However, as I alluded to earlier, less is more is probably better for this keyboard. Just give us a similar design to the OG Flow with probably a volume roller and we can call it a day. Or maybe add a small display or something. And there you have it guys, thank you for watching. Huge thanks to Lofree for sending this in, and I apologize for the delayed release as I have a lot of things going on in my life right now. But yeah, I guess you still have a week to back this keyboard up on Kickstarter. I'll put a link below if you're interested. Thank you for watching, subscribe if you appreciate this video, and see you next time. Have a great day guys, you're awesome.